Welcome back to another video by Gamer J. We're entering our first Ravnica Allegiance draft. Well, I'm not sure what the sign-up time here, what it is. I'm hoping that it's an event ends time so that I can pay and start playing right now. We're gonna find out. I just managed to complete a couple of 750 quests and get enough together to actually be able to get into this draft. And I'm completely unfamiliar with the cards aside from what I've gotten from completing the first tier of masteries. Alright. Well, looks like we're at least able to start drafting here. Can't see that. Let's switch over. Well, I don't know what's broken and what's not, but that looks like a pretty good start. Seraph of the Scales, white and black, 4/3 flying for 4. I can give Vigilance until end of turn, can give Death Touch until end of turn, and has Afterlife 2, whether I pay anything into it at all or not. Looks like it could be useful, mid to late game. I don't know how big the bombs get in this format, but it looks pretty good. I'm just going to take a quick look at some of these other cards and see, I want to look for what kind of removal exists. So Exile, so white has a bit of removal, that's unbalanced with blue. Well, that's pretty expensive, but it is a destroy target creature. And does a bit of extra damage on top of it. So that's definitely a game turner, I think, but it's it's late. So it should be able to destroy something big. But it's a dead card early on. Alright, creature with flying. Yeah, each creature with flying. So that looks useful. Alright, well, we're going to start black-white here with Seraph Scales, and look towards any kind of removal that either has. There's a nice black-red with Hackerbat. I have used this card. It also can gain Death Touch as a spectacle cost, and can pump for a bit more damage, potentially. Gatebreakers, I've seen somebody play a Gatebreaker deck against me. I don't remember if it was in ranked, constructed, or just regular play, but either way it was constructed, and stuff got big fast. Not interested in it because it's it's not leading in any of the directions that we have. Screaming Shield, equipped creature gets +0/+3, and they also have the ability to tap for 2. And target player puts top 3 cards of their library into their graveyard. So it's a mill card in addition to being a defensive card. I don't know how much mill format has, but it's always a fun thing to do to be able to pull off and actually mill your opponent, but not usually a very good strategy at limited. Not usually a good strategy in constructed either, but it's fun. Knight of Sorrows can block an additional creature each combat and Afterlife 1, but it's a 3/3 for 5, doesn't seem very efficient. Just a card. Portal, exile target creature you control, then return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control. It gains first strike until end of turn. So it's a combat trick, and it doesn't make him indestructible or anything, but it can be very useful as a combat trick. I don't think we're looking for those just yet. Some, blue-white synergy with, flying can never be underestimated and limited. Senate Courier gains Vigilance until end of turn. All right. Adapt 2, so it's a 3/3 for 4, and potentially a 5/5 for 4. I think that the Adapt is a lot more useful and limited than other formats. Azorius Knight Arbiter can't be blocked. Vigilance, while a Vigilance that's unblockable. That seems pretty useful, actually, particularly limited. And 5 on the back end doesn't look like it's bad from the cards that we've seen so far. And there is a destroy target creature scry 1, which I like. But I think I'm going to take the Knight and leave ourselves open for some directions here. You know, we'll have 2 white, 1 white blue, 1 white black. And here we've got a little bit of white blue coming our way. Dovin's Acuity. When it enters the battlefield, you gain 2 life and draw a card. Whenever you cast an instant spell during your main phase, you may return Dovin's Acuity to its owner's hand. And High Alert. So both these are enchantments. And each creature you control assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power. Well, that could be really useful. With white-blue, they tend to have a much better back end than they do front end. And you can untap target creature. I'm liking that. I don't know that it's a better pick than some of the other options that we have here, but I'm kind of liking that High Alert for a blue-white deck. Untap another creature you control. So it's basically giving vigilance to another creature, which in limited can be basically giving all your creatures vigilance, because you might not have a lot of creatures, and if you're doing blue-white, several of them probably already have vigilance anyway. Fairy Duelist, flash flying. When it enters the battlefield, target creature an opponent controls gets -, so it's a flash 1/2 flyer for 2, which is good with a combat trick. So I'm liking the economy of that one. We still have black as an option. Undercity Scavenger enters the battlefield. You may sacrifice another creature. If you do, put 2 +1/+1 counters on Undercity Scavenger, then scry 2. So I'm not loving it, but I'm not hating it either. At worst, it's a 3/3 for 4 with scry 2. At best, you get rid of some dead weight and make them a 5/5 for 4 scry 2, so it's not horrible. Red's not on the table for us. Greens, unless we get a red bomb, there's no reason for us to look at it. Green also, kind of in that same situation. Red or green, we'll lock it okay. There's a green-blue, choose one or both, combat trick, and green-blue. So I think we're really looking at these first 4 cards as our option. Maybe even the Undercity Scavenger. I'm liking the Fairy Duelist, but we do have. It looks like we're more white than anything else yet. I think I'm going to grab the High Alert because I can draft to it, and I don't know that I'm going to get another chance at it. The other things, they're commons, and I should be able to maybe get another chance at any of those. Thought Collapse is a kind of counterspell I like to look at. It's an E-spell, so it's not a specific type. Its controller puts the top 3 cards of the library into the graveyard, so it's counterspell and mill. I might just draft mill stuff for funnies. I have to draft pretty heavy on it, and the chances of getting a lot of it is pretty poor. Most think, I don't know the set well enough to know whether I have a good chance at anything there or not. Wolf Lost Thoughts enters the battlefield. Target player puts the top 4 cards of their library into their graveyard, so there's some more mill. I've seen that used in Constructed, where the opposing player used it to put their own cards into their graveyard as as some graveyard tech in their entire build. Code of Constraint. Target creature gets -4, -0 until end of turn. draw a card. So that's, I mean, it's draw a card for 3, and a combat trick. And if it's done during your main phase, tap that creature, and it doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step. So it's just a slightly better combat trick at that point. It's proactive rather than reactive. I like it. Let's see. Exile a creature with power 4 or greater, which I don't see a lot of yet. A 3/2, when Hazda Officer enters the battlefield, target creature you control gets +1/+1 until end of turn. That's only until end of turn, so I'm going to grab the wall, and we're just going to see if we can't get funny with some kind of mill tech. Well, not a lot of white-blue here at all. We got a lot of red-green, which tells me that we might want to keep our eye open towards either of those colors or both of them. Red has good removal, green has good ramp, generally speaking. Green has anti-flying. And we're going to take the 10th District veteran here, I think. We're going to look at that blue card in just a second. I'm just glancing over some of these other cards and what they do, so I can look to what I might go for if I have to start delving into red-green, because it's what's being passed to us. So what is this one? Look at the top 4 cards of your library. Put one of them into your hand, the rest on the bottom in any order. On the bottom of your library in a random order. Okay. So it's deck thinning. It's a draw card. But it's also draw one of the top 4. So that's pretty useful. Being a sorcery makes it, so you have to spend the mana on your turn, so you are losing turn efficiency for card efficiency. I like it, but I don't like it over 10th District Veteran at all. It's something that I think I would play, but it doesn't seem like it's good enough to be the pick. And again, another Wall of Lost Thoughts I like. The Angel, I think I'm liking better without even reading it, just seeing it's a 3/4 flyer. I see it's 6 now. Gain 2 life for each gate you control, so it's a gate card. And then I like the Senate Courier as well, in particular if I happen to be able to pull off that high alert. The Wall of Lost Thoughts also works with high alert, right? Creatures you control can attack as though they didn't have Defender, and each creature you control assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power. That's significant if I can make it work. I'd really like to get another one of those high alerts. I have no idea what these gold cards are. There's a gate that we might want to grab. A 3/1 for 2. Let's see what these are. It's final payment. As an additional cost to cast a spell, pay 5 life or sacrifice a creature or enchantment. Destroy a target creature. I don't hate that. It's good removal. A bit of a cost, but it's only 2 to begin with. So, Sphinx of the Guild Pact is all colors, flying, hexproof from monocolored. That seems really good, actually, particularly in limited. I think we're going to grab that one, but let's see what this guy is. 3/1/1 Blood Mist Infiltrator attacks. You may sacrifice another creature. If you do, Blood Mist Infiltrator can't be blocked this turn. The target opponent sacrifices a creature. If you control a creature with power 4 or greater, you gain 4 life. I like that one. Undercity's Embrace. I do like. But getting a creature with power 4 or greater, again, I'm not seeing it. There's one, but I haven't been seeing it as we go. Our rare. I'm gonna grab the Sphinx while I can. It looks like good tech, and it looks like it could swing a game. Gates seem like they're easy enough to grab. We're not really leaning black-white, even though it was our first pick. We're leaning white-blue at this point. Maybe a bit of black is useful. We've got a lot of green to pick from here. Draw a card, you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. Never a dead card because you draw. It can give you a bit of a boost. I'm looking at it because we're getting a lot of green, and we already have white-blue. Black, I still like. Whenever Plague White becomes blocked, each creature blocking it gets -1 until end of turn. So it's almost like having a 3/2 on turn 2. It can't be blocked by a 1/1, basically. It can be, but it's going to die without doing its damage. Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt this turn. That seems like really good tech. There's the locket that I could grab. There's the gate. There is a black creature where I could start going towards green with Root Snare or Growth Spiral. Regenesis, return up to 2 target permanent cards from your graveyard to your hand. Also potentially very useful. Beginning of your end step, untap all lands you control. That's specific tech that I don't think will be useful in this format. I'm going to grab the Growth Spiral and just leave it open a little bit for grabbing some green as we go. Black-red uncommon we're not doing. We're going away from red as an option. Red's the only thing off the table right now. Lots of black here to choose from. And let's take a look at our Defender. Tap it, and untapped creature you control, add 1 mana of any color. It takes 2 creatures to add a mana. It is color fixing though if we do end up going 3 colors. Let's see, a pumpable Shade. It's a 1/1 for 1 with lifelink plus pumpable. That seems pretty awesome to me. Not going to have the mana to pump Rakdos Trumpeter. Consign to the pit, destroy target creature, and it deals. So that's at late game, and it's a 6-drop, so I'm not really interested in it. When Carrion Imp enters the battlefield, you may exile target creature card from a graveyard. If you do, gain 2 life. So it's a little bit of a life swing. Nothing too fancy. I'm going to grab this Thirsting Shade. A 3/4 for 4 is what we got there for green. The 3/3 Adapt for blue is what I'm leaning towards. I don't like a 3/3 for 5, even with Afterlife. Just Gar's Portal, exile target creature you control, then return it. So this is that tech that we looked at earlier. I'm going to grab this Eel with the Adapt. There's another 10th District Veteran. A Fairy Duelist. I think this is the first pack that we opened, actually. Target creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn, and or return target creature to its owner's hand. Definitely a really good combat trick to be able to do both of those things. If they're leaving 1 blocker behind, you get extra damage while you bounce their blocker away. So So that said, this is a tough choice for me. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be this late into the picks. But I'm liking 3. I think that any one of these cards is playable. This is probably the least playable. I think I'm going to go with flying. This is tough. How am I doing on creatures? I can't look at that yet, can I? So I just have to count, right? 1. I don't even want to. Well, I kind of want to count those. I'll count that as 1. Attacker 2. So we got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 creatures out of 10 cards. Well, that's not too bad. Yeah, I'm gonna take the Biomancy. I think that these might get passed back in future packs, and the Biomancy might be less common. I don't know though. So this is a draw card combat trick or a counterspell mill, and again, I'm going to go for some mill tech here if I can for funnies. And here we are again with a pick between that 3/4 for 4, or destroy a creature with flying. I think I'm going to grab destroy a creature with flying. I don't know if I'm going to grab multiples of that. Well, I guess it'll keep on coming back to me, so I should have grabbed the other one. Target artifact or enchantment, scry 1. There's not a lot of enchantment removal under City's Embrace. Something else I was looking at. Well, Spawn of Mayhem is a great card. It's one that I got earlier. I don't remember how, but I have it, and I put it to my constructed decks that use black. It's a lot of fun to use. Bankrupted Blood has an additional cost to cast the spell, sacrifice 2 creatures, draw 3 cards. Clear the stage, target creature gets -3/-3 until end of turn. If you control a creature with power 4 or greater, you may return up to 1 target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. So that's pretty neat. No red. +2/+2 until end of turn. And they gain flying if it's done during your turn. Twilight Panther gains Death Touch. Shuffle the graveyard into their library and draw a card. That's going to work against my mill. Draw 4 cards and discard 2. When Senate Griffin enters the battlefield, scry 1. Rakdos Gate, not going to happen. 3/1 with lifelink, pretty useful. There's a couple of okay cards in here, but the Spawn of Mayhem I think is hands down. It seemed like it was really what I was going to grab from the beginning, but there's definitely nothing else there that I'm super excited about. Hexproof 2/5, and again, if I can get that, it's Growth Spiral. Where was it? High Alert. Maybe I need to start getting more draw to try and get this High Alert as a priority. Quench looks like it might be my pick. I'm curious what this is. It's a red rare that got passed to us. It's a 1/3 for 2. Opponent activates an ability, artifact, creature, or land that isn't a mana ability. Deals 1 damage to that player. That looks useful. Gets +3/+3, gains menace until end of turn. That's useful. This is a decent card. If I was doing red, I think I'd grab it. So clearly red is being passed. And our main colors might not be, which is a shame. And Riot is haste or +1/+1, so it's a decent card. I'm really looking at the Quench as my pick here. I'm just trying to convince myself whether or not something else is better. We have a homunculus, not homunculus, but homunculus, which is a homunculus. Is interesting, but it's made much better if I do have high alert. But this is pretty clearly just a straight up counterspell. It's it doesn't get much better than that, I don't think. I'm going to look at the Scuttle Gator. I think they tend to get passed up all the time. It's got an adapt 3, it's defender, okay. Counter on it can attack as though it didn't have defender. So there's its problem, is it's defender to begin with, and you have to adapt it to make it do anything. And you can't adapt it for 2 turns after you can put it into play. Azorius Skyguard has a good first look at it. Flying for strike. Creatures your opponent controls get -1/-0. I've had that played against me. I don't remember if it was it had it been in constructed, because I've never had a limited game with this, other than 2020. So, or M20 rather. So this, I've had this played against me in constructed. It's neat. Let's see, tap target creature, draw a card. Useful. Create 2 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature tokens with flying, then gain a life for each creature you control. Also useful. Let's see. Gain life. Counterspell with mill. That'll come back to me, I'm pretty sure. I think it's really between these first 2 cards, and one of them is a creature. It's a late creature, but it can really stop an opponent or stall them pretty bad. Well, this, at a glance, it's a 2/2 for 2. It's a legendary on my main colors. Unless there's a drawback. Each opponent can't cast non-creature spells with converted mana cost greater than the number of lands that player controls. Well, that doesn't seem very useful. So you can't use, elves to give you more mana to be able to cast spells, non-creature spells. Specifically non-creature spells. So creature spell you could cast regardless of how you got the mana. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, if no mana was spent to cast it, counter that spell. Alright, well, I can see why it's still getting passed, I guess. I'm going to have a counterspell heavy deck, it looks like. Again, neat tech, but there's a quench and there's a thought collapse, and I like them both. And I'm going to grab the quench. Creatures you control, that's an instant, but all creatures you control get +1/+3 until end of turn, and untap them. So you can declare your attackers, let them be blocked or not blocked, doesn't matter, and then play that. So that's really good tech. As much good tech as there seems to be, you still need creatures to make the tech work. Fairy Duelist is solid and it's tech. Cry of the Carnarian. Cry of the Carnarian. All creatures get -2/-2 until end of turn. I'm not even going to keep reading. I'm not interested. I'm not seeing more blue over there that I'm interested in. And there's another high alert. There we go. I mean, that's going to be my pick. So I'm not, having 2 high alerts, I think, really makes the rest of the draft a bit easier. It even makes Homunculus useful, right? Because creatures you control can, because of the first part, each creature you control assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power. It seems pretty awesome to me. There's another defender. That suddenly can be a 3/3 attacker with a bit of extra tech to it. 3/3 for 4. When it enters the battlefield, creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. Not a creature, but all creatures, including himself. He doesn't have haste, but that can be very useful. I still like the Skitter Eel. I think I like the Skitter Eel more than I like the Civic Stalwart, and I think I'm a bit heavier on blue. And again, thought classes keep on coming back to me, and I really like them, and I want them. But since they keep on coming back to me, I'm not prioritizing them. So it's really between the first 2 cards here, and they're, I'd say they're roughly even. But the Adapt has the chance to become a 5/5. I'm going to grab that one. Blade Brand is good tech. I think I'm not really going to be going into the black though. I got my first picks from each pack happened to be black, and I really like them, but I don't think that they're worth trying to get black in on all this, right? I just don't have enough black going around to support it, I don't think. And there is. There's a Seraph of Scales. It might be worth splashing black for Seraph of Scales and something else. But 2 black for the Spawn of Mayhem, I think we can just eliminate that. Well, not yet. Rester's Admonition. I'm going to go with the 10th District Veteran. I like it. It's added vigilance basically for attacks, and if I have my High Alert out, then it's basically a 3/3 for 3 with vigilance that gives vigilance. Nothing special about the Twilight Panther or the Vizkopa Vampire. In fact, that works against my High Alert. Prying Eyes. Draw 4, discard 2. Nothing great here. There is a 6/6 Riot Trample. So a 7/7 Trample or a 6/6 Ace Trample. Both seem like they're decent. Can win the game. Turn 7. I'm not going to be playing green. What did I grab that's green? The 1 card that's green. Oh, and I guess I grabbed some tech. So I'm missing out on this, as I really do like the big green creatures, but it's just not worth going to at this point. Clear the Mind is worthless to me. Twilight Panther might be okay, particularly if I am splashing a bit of black. It's a 1/2 for 1. That's not bad. Prying Eyes seems okay, but it's not what I want late game, and I definitely don't want it early game. Alright, well, I'm thinking the Humongulous is the way to go here. Thought Collapse, I want it. Has the Officer, enters the battlefield, target creature you control, gets +1/+1 until end of turn. I want the Thought Collapse. I don't want any of this. What's this do? Do I want this for black in some other format? Target player reveals their hand. You choose a non-land card from it. That player discards that card. Well, yeah, I sure do want that in another format. Might even want it in this format, but I'm not going to grab it. What are the persistent petitioners? Even 1/3 for 2. Target player puts the top card of their library into the graveyard. Okay, so it's a tap mill. Tap 4 untapped advisors you control. Target player puts the top 12 cards of their library in the graveyard that can have a number of persistent petitioners. Wow. That's amazing. There's no way I'm going to get 4 of them at this point. But even without 4 of them, it's still a millstone. If I remember, I think millstone you had to pay 1 and 2, but I think it also mill 2. But it's a creature, and it has mill tech on it. I'm going to grab that. More mill. More mill that I can use. I'm definitely not going to use it all. Particularly, I think the Thought Collapses. Alright. When Plaza of Harmony enters the battlefield, if you control 2 or more gates, which I won't, you gain 3 life. Add a colorless. Add 1 mana of any type that a gate you control can produce. So, pretty useful card for a gate deck, which I don't have. Sacrifice another non-token creature. Create a 1/1 white and black spirit creature token with flying afterlife 3. It's a 4/4 for 7. Not so hot. Not horrible. Not super happy with this pack. Looking at Thought Collapse and Homunculus, and I know they're both going to come back to me. Boo. Well, let's grab another Thought Collapse. Let's see how many of those I can get. Oh my goodness. When Endrazor Forerunners enters the battlefield, other creatures you control get +2/+2 and gain Vigilance and Trample until end turns. Vigilance, Trample, haste 7/7 for 8. This is a game breaker, and I had some green cards. I can't see how I can pass that up. Even if I can't go heavy green right now. I feel very conflicted about that right now. Code of Constraint, it's tech, right. Attacks, target creature you control gets until where X is power, not that useful. Blade Brand, I think we gotta go with the hybrid. With Adapt, as we are now drafting green. Blue-green. Exile target creature, that creature's controller creates a 3/3 green rock wizard tokens. Okay, I feel like it's more useful to use on your own crappy creature. Look at the top 5 cards. Just on a blocker, so you don't die. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature card from among them and put it in your hand. Put the rest in the bottom of your library in a random order. Not horrible, but not game-changing. Gates, basic lands, card or gate card. Reveal it, put it in your hand, and shuffle your library. I feel like it's almost worth grabbing that. Target creatures you control with a counter on it. Fights target creature you don't control. That's green removal. This is blue-white. Draw 2 cards. Gain 2 life. Do I go for big or little right now? I think I go for little. Right? I think I go for the Duelist for now. The Wrecking Beast looks great, but I'm going to go for the Duelist and we'll see what gets passed back to us. Mother Duelist, Shimmer of Possibility, top 4, Useful Sorcery, 3/5 Reach, tech that we've already grabbed, 1/3 flyer, which could be a 3/3 flyer, 3/6, create a 1/1 token. So with the other cards that I have, it could be a 6/6 Borneo. Basically a 7/7, but with the use as 1/1 as part of that. For 6. I think this is going to be more useful for us, and I think we are going for 3 colors at this point with no mana fixing. That's a problem. Stalwart, don't need the Homunculus. Senate Griffin enters the battlefield, scry 1. Not horrible, and 1 creatures, letting that one. Alright, there's that Defender with mana fixing. I think we're going to grab that. Flying is useful. Getting 2 life is good, but we're going to grab our mana fixer. Alright, target creature you control, untap that creature, get tech. Can be done early. What is this? Just a 3/2 for 3. Okay. Not horrible. Grab another monster here. And we got Boar or Root Snare. I think we're going to go with that Boar. Well, Root Snare is really good. It's Fog. It's Fog, just costs 1 more. And it gives you the swing back. It makes them think twice about going all in. And if they do go all in, you can really punish them for it by not blocking anything. Grab that. Tower of Defense. Tower Defense. +0/+5 and gain reach until end of turn. Wow! Wow, that's pretty awesome. But it's not as awesome as creatures. Particularly green creatures, since I have to fill in some holes here. Another creature you control gets... So you're probably using this for giving another creature 3. It's a 3/3. So its extra cost is really the tech, which is good. And I prefer the 3 mana cost. Incubation and Incarnuity, or Brawl. I've got some Adapt that could be useful. This deck building is going to be not very easy for me.